time after a few years, and they go a lot quicker now I'm a bit older. We saw the writing on the wall in terms of tour operators going direct to our customers. Back in the days, for those that have been doing this as long as I have, tours started asking, if you remember, for customers' names and addresses in the system. And that was the day we sort of decided, hang on a minute, we own the customer, not the tour operator. So we decided to create our own system called Phenix. And it was supposed to be a project that was supposed to take 6 months. And 17 years later, we are still building on it, evolving it. And it's now basically a very, very good tour operating system. And it does allow us as a business to build our own packages. And my job for most of my career at Travel Counsellors has been commercial. It's been looking after the operators and supply chain. And we have a huge responsibility to ensure that our travel counsellors have product at their fingers that they can sell. So we've evolved. We still deal with retail tour operators. We've got a broad range of retail tour operators that we work with. But then Phenix is probably our hub where we do the majority of our business now. And the reason Phenix is so important to us is, and particularly throughout COVID, it's important we have control of the booking journey, and our travel counsellors have control of the booking journey. One, because when a customer's been on holiday, we want them to know not only have they had a great service from our travel counsellors in terms of booking, but actually they value the holiday, and the holiday has been created bespokely made by a travel counsellor. So they don't come back and say, oh, I had a great holiday with two-way. They come back and I had a great holiday with travel counsellors. So a lot of our business is done now on the platform. So from a product point of view, we deal with about 4,000 different suppliers. Now that sounds immense, it's huge. But to break that up, we have our own direct contracts with hotels, predominantly 4- and 5-star hotels globally, and I'll talk a little bit more about them in a second. We'll deal with retail tour operators, we deal with all the cruise lines, we deal with all the airlines with a range of fares, from leisure fares, IT fares, consolidated fares and published fares. We deal with the low-cost carriers, and then obviously we deal with destination management companies as well. So you've got a broad range. Remember, our travel counsellors come from all walks of life and when they join us. So often they'll come and say, I've used this supplier or that supplier. If we don't have a supplier we already use, we will always look at them. Now, when we do look at suppliers, there's a few things we take into consideration: health and safety, financial stability, which will be very important for the next couple of years of those suppliers, how they look after our customers, and feedback from our travel counsellors and what it's like to deal with them suppliers. So we have massive range. Obviously, COVID hit just over 12 months ago, and you know, it hit all the industry. Now, because we had Phenix, and I guess a very good team that's great in a crisis, it was a lot easier for us to unravel a lot of these bookings quickly. I'm not going to say it wasn't painful. Of course, it was painful, but actually getting refund. You may have seen we got credited 3 times with Money Supermarket last year for being one of the best in terms of refunding. I wouldn't say, I'm not going to sit on this call and say we were probably the quickest. I'm not sure we were the quickest. However, because of the model, our travel counsellors stay close to the customers, and where we were holding a lot of money in the trust, we could refund quite quickly a lot of our own packages. We were beholden to tour operators where they weren't refunding, so some of those took a little bit longer, but our own packages we could refund quite quickly. So Phenix is, and also having Phenix, it allows our travel counsellors, as I've said previously, to be in control of the booking, but more importantly, be in control of the margin. And within Phenix, we generally make our travel counsellors' margin is on average 40 to 50% more than when we're booking with retail, because we have cut out, for all intents and purposes, a middleman. It is up to our travel counsellor, though, to book what is right for the customer. So if that is booking with a retail tour operator, that's absolutely fine. There's no issue with that. But if that's doing it in Phenix, that's absolutely fine too. It's down to the travel counsellor to do what is right for the customer. The customer always comes first in this. So COVID hit us 12 months ago. It feels like 18 months, but it's just over 12 months ago. We did a lot of unravelling of bookings, but obviously there's a few points last year where we did have windows of opportunity to sell. So we had a late summer market, or we had a midsummer market that stopped. Then we had a Caribbean market over the winter, and some of our travel counsellors actually did really, really well. Obviously, as we came into the new year, we went into full lockdown again. And as a business, historically, we did very little UK business. It was less than 1% of our business. I think our travel counsellors like to sell long haul, they like to sell high margin product for our premium customers. And we did a little bit of UK market. We understood that maybe all that our travel counsellors could sell for a period of time. So we put a crisis team in place, basically go to market to get as much UK products as we possibly could. And our business is now 6 times what it ordinarily would be. So we've got a broad range of product. We're one of the few agents in the UK that can sell Sykes with a margin. So we sell Sykes with commission. We've got all the usual culprits, whole seasons and others, but we've now got a much broader range where our travel counsellors came together, made local recommendations. Remember, they live all over the country, so they were coming to local caravan parks, to lodges, to tree houses, and all these wonderful products that in the UK that we didn't know about. We deal with Mr. and Mrs. Smith. We've got probably 15, 16 new supplies that we took on board, and to be honest, that's been a lifesaver for many of our travel counsellors, knowing they're going to start getting income from next month with the UK breaks that they have done, and it's actually transformed some of our travel counsellors' businesses in terms of business that they have done. Looking forward, obviously, we're all fingers crossed we're going to get a great announcement on the 5th or 12th of April. But we've pivoted our contracting team, so we have a small contracting team for what is selling. So ordinarily, we strongly contract long haul, so Middle East, Indian Ocean, Caribbean, for Far East, for example. We do have a Mediterranean program as well, but we've pivoted the contractors into the Med. So we've added in the last 3 weeks 17 new Greece contracts, for example. We know it is selling really, really well. The likes of Icos, Dias, etc. sell extraordinarily well for us. So we've now got a whole range of products similar, because we know that capacity is going to be an issue. We've brought on some new DMCs for the Med as well, for people who want to maybe do a few multi-send to the Greek islands as well. So UK Med has been our focus. Indian Ocean is looking promising for later on in the year. Anywhere the vaccine program is looking strong is where we're focusing. So Indian Ocean, Maldives, we are selling very well again through some ground handlers over there. We believe Middle East will probably open up, and fingers crossed as rumour US may open in July, August. Phenix is very well positioned for multi-centre US too. So our job is to listen to what our travel counsellors need and want. It's in our interest that they have product to sell. We're always open to new ideas, new product, as long as, like I say, strict criteria in terms of risk management, and ensuring that our customers are well looked after, and that our travel counsellors are well looked after in terms of service. So I think I don't want to hog all the call, so I will shut up now. If you've got any questions at the end, we're going to stay on the call. I think questions are going to be at the end. Is that right, Joe?
Yeah, that's right. So we'll have a brief Q&A at the end if anyone does have any questions.
Okay. So I will shut up, because I could talk about products all day long. I'm very passionate about it. Before I do pass back to you, Joe, because I just want to question. In Greece at the moment, for Icos and Dice, for example, we're in the top 3 agents distributing it. So we are premium product in the Med is our sweet spot, really, and we have quite a lot of it. Obviously, we have all the other product through. There's 13 wholesalers in Phenix, so in terms of bed banks. So people like Expedia, we have them as numinous, so we can make margin. Beds Online used to be hotel beds. There's a whole range of wholesalers as well in Phenix, so they come up the back, if you will, with 3- and 4-star products across the Med that we wouldn't ordinarily contract, because quite honestly, people like Beds Online can do it better in those markets. So whole range of product. We'll leave any questions to the end, and I'll pass back to you now, Joe.
Cheers, Kirsten. Thank you. So, as Kirsten alluded to, we'll move towards the Phenix demonstration that we'll be going through. And without further ado, I'd introduce our current live in the flesh TC, Emma. So, a bit of background very briefly before Emma takes over. Emma, just to give you a picturesque view of how this started, joined us in March 2020, which, as you'll recall, is probably 5 to 10 days before all the chaos happened. So I won't steal your thunder of telling you how you felt. I'll leave that to Emma, and then we'll get going with a brief Phenix demonstration.
Hi everybody, thanks for having me today. So I joined Travel Counsellors in March 2020, literally 2 weeks I think before we went into lockdown. So that was not what I was expecting, but obviously it was something that we all had to deal with. I came from a background, I was previously with a niche tour operator, a walk-in holiday tour operator for 15 years. And then for 15 years before that, I was with Thomas Cook, and I left there as a branch manager, the last 5 years working for them as a branch manager in various different locations. So I'm just going to talk you through a simple booking on Phenix. Let me just, bear with me a moment. Okay, so I hope you can all see my screen. Is that okay, Joe?
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, okay. So I'm just going to talk you through a real basic booking in Phenix, and today we are going to go off to Dubai, which would be lovely. Yeah. So we start with the flight aspect of the booking. With Phenix, we have the ability to search for most airlines on here, and as Kirsten said, with various different fares available. So we'll just put together a quick itinerary here for you, just to give you an idea. We can click by class, so we can do economy, business, first class. We'll just stick with economy for now, and we can also put an airline preference, so we'll just take Emirates here. We can also stipulate whether we're looking for direct or non-stop flights. Also, if you wanted to fly via somewhere, if you're looking for stopovers, you can pop that in there. And we also have the facilities to search for specific dates or flexible dates, which is good if you're flexible dates is good if you're looking for the cheapest fare, say in around 7 days. So that's always a good option to have. So yes.
Sorry. No, it's okay. I was just going to ask if we could add a second leg to that, but it's okay.
Oh, okay. I'll carry on with it as it is. Okay, so it just brings up, I've put in the 1st to the 6th of October. The first line here is the outbound flight, and then the return flight underneath. It gives you various information of what type of fare is here. So it starts with the cheapest options first, whether your luggage is included, and then on the right hand side it just gives us details of what type of fare is available. So if you scroll down, you'll see the fares will increase, and depending on, we've got consolidated fares, published fares. I'm just going to stick with the cheapest option here, which is a consolidator IT fare, and we can book this on a deposit only. So it's £100 per person deposit. And this option here will allow you to pick alternative flights that are still available at the same fare. So I'm going to stick with the £16.50 going out, and on the return, I'm going to go for the slightly later one of 0940 departure from Dubai. So we're going to select that option, and then it will give you a brief summary of what you have selected when it decides to pull through. There we go. Okay, so on the left hand side you have the details of the flights, including the flight duration. You can also access the fare rules at this point. You can do that on the previous page as well, and then it will give you the options, the price difference between all the fares and the classes that are available on those flights, and then just the same for the return there. So this is just a note you'll get this sometimes now with obviously test certificates. COVID test certificates may be required when travelling with certain airlines. So we just need to obviously have that discussion with the client as well. I'm going to add this flight to my quote. So we'll add that one. And then we'll go and look for some accommodation. So we can build the package. You can select just to pre-populate the dates that you require and the amount of nights, and that will identify that from the flight that you've previously selected. On the right hand side, you can filter by board basis, ratings, if there's a particular supplier you'd like to use, based on Travel Counsellor's reviews. There's lots of filters that you can select in there. I'll leave those for now. And then it will go and search all the bed banks and obviously the Travel Counsellor's direct contracts that we have. And it will bring up all of the availability for the dates that you've selected. So we'll just wait for those to run through.
There's always one that takes.
There's always one, yeah.
Okay,
so it's pulling through now. She says. Okay, here we go. So they're grouped together in terms of the green here are recommended properties, and then we have featured properties, bestseller properties, and then the rest. So for argument's sake here, we're going to go for the JA Beach Hotel here, which is a Travel Counsellor's direct contract, which you can see on the right hand side. It will indicate who the supplier is. The price that it gives you here is always the lead-in room, and the red one here will indicate there's a special offer available on that particular hotel. And then these are the reviews, so the scoring for the reviews. So and then you've obviously got the star rating here of the hotel. So if we click on this, and then we can view some more information. So if we click on the name of the hotel, it will give you some photos, and if there is video available, that will pull through on there as well. So there's lots of information on this. If you're clicking through on the hotel link, you can also view daily availability. So if you're looking for a specific room type for that particular hotel and it's not pulling through, it will tell you on which days and why there's a problem. So if you're looking for 4 nights, it's only available for 3, then that will be why. And it will also give you an indication of the charge conditions for the hotel, so cancellation charges and when they kick into place. This is really important. I think for me, using Phenix is one of the main reasons why I joined Travel Counsellors, to be honest. Having the flexibility to be able to build my own packages. And I think now more than ever with COVID and travel restrictions, it's been brilliant because we've been able to put together our own packages, and then we've been able to obviously cancel down at no charges, and we've been able to keep on top of the cancellation charges for our clients, which is good for us, and it's great service for them. And as it just gives you the most flexibility. You can work around the cancellation charges, the ticketing deadlines, etc. It's just been a lifeline, really. So yeah, there's further information available on the documents part of this, so you can click into fact sheets about the hotel. You can see here there's one about hotel benefits, the golf resort and spa, the information on the spa, information on the golf course. So that's all really good selling tools for when you speak to your clients about particular hotels. And then if we scroll down here, you'll be able to see the room types that are available. And it will also give you an indication of the board basis and the supplier, the net cost to us, the agent markup, and then the total selling price to the client. And if we click on the special offer, we can see there the special offer that's applicable to this particular hotel, and also tells you when you need to book by and what the discount is. So it's 15% on this one. So I'm going to select just the lead-in room, which is a resort view room on bed and breakfast. So we'll proceed with that. Okay, and then the errata will pop up at the bottom. So obviously that's important for you to relay to a client. And then also it will just clarify the cancellation charges and when they kick in. So we can add that to our quote. So now we should have a flight, which we've got here, and you can note the ticketing deadline on there as well, and also the accommodation. So we'll pop in a transfer for this one. Which you can auto-populate from the flights and the hotel components that you already have in there. Okay. So we will go with a private standard transfer meet and greet. And so this just gives you more information on here. So your clients will be met in the arrivals hall with a Travel Counsellor's branded sign. And obviously they will then be taken to their vehicle and they will have a private transfer to their accommodation. So we can add that into the quote. So now on there, we can see we have a flight, we have a transfer, and we have our accommodation. So we will validate our booking, which will apply the ATOL and the package fees. And let's just update that. Okay, so here we can see we have a total cost. Now, with our own packages, we can amend the margin. So if you feel that you want to sell a higher margin, then you can change the figure in this box and it will reflect the price to the customer. So it's great flexibility to be able to change this and obviously determine how much you'll be making, and obviously the company will be making from the booking. The required deposit's in there, and you can always round that up if you want to, just to have a higher deposit on there. And then you'll see the deposit now due is £300. And it will also give you a balance due date. So how we present that to the customer, we'll scroll down to the accommodation. If you click on the email and the My TC content, then that will give you exactly what will be sent to the customer within the quote. And you have the ability to change pictures at this point if you wanted to, so we can replace a picture with another one. There you go. And then it will give them all the information that they need regarding the hotel, who it's suitable for, the facilities. So we can save that, and that will show all on their quote. Okay, so just bear with me a moment and I will just show you how the quote will look when the customer receives it. Bear with me a moment.
So on Zoom, you just have to, you have to change the screen.
There we go. Can you see that, Joe?
Yeah, that's come through great.
Okay. So there we go. So there's the final quote to the customer, and that's what they will see. So it will detail who's travelling, their full itinerary, including their flights, their transfer, their accommodation, all the errata that's pulled through from the hotel, and again, their return transfer and flight, the total cost with a deposit that would be due if they wanted to book, details on how they can make payments for the holiday, and then at the bottom there you will see all the hotel information. And there you go. There's obviously lots of, Phenix is amazing. So we can add attractions in Dubai, excursions, etc. We can add more flights to the booking, and obviously we can turn it into a tour centre if we wanted to do Dubai Maldives, for example. So anything is possible on Phenix. We can build anything. I've just recently done a Route 66 booking for a client, which had, I think it was 15 hotels on there, 2 lots of car hire throughout, and obviously the transatlantic flights as well. So anything is possible to build on here. It's a great tool to have. I wouldn't be without it now.
Thanks so much, Emma. We really appreciate you going through that and taking some time as well. And like Emma alluded to, then Phenix is as broad as and depth as you'd like it to be. We only really scratched the surface there. Genuinely, through the training that you go through, you'll do much more than just a standard package like that. You can really have the opportunity to beef up itineraries with airport lounge access, car parking at airports. You can really go the full length, so your customer has literally everything done for them, or as little as they want done for them, and you can manage that to however they want. So whether that be using our retail suppliers, doing it yourself, dynamically packaging it, and using our product, then you've got the flexibility to do so too. Whether you're a corporate travel consultant at the moment, considering becoming a travel counsellor, you can utilise the GDS systems that we use and incorporate that all into a centralised system through Phenix. So I appreciate that was a brief snippet of Phenix, but hopefully gave you an idea of how easy it is to use and navigate yourself around. And it's like anything really, system wise, that the more you use it, then the more familiar and comfortable you'll become with it. And genuinely, the hope is that when demand does return, and it's very much on its way back, you'll be able to turn quotes around in roughly 6 to 8 minutes, depending on obviously what that is. But a standard package like that, you can get back to your customer really, really quickly. So I hope that helped. Hope it gave you a brief idea of what Phenix looks like. It's a bit of a word that we always talk about, but unless you're in the business, you don't know what it is. So that's Phenix, our reservation platform. And I hope that's given you all an idea. I open the floor to anyone who has any questions, or if Matt, if you want to add anything, or Kirsten as well, just before we do so, that might be worthwhile. But if not, we'll get stuck right into questions.
Can I just jump in with one thing?
Sure.
I think one thing we do have as well is an app for consumers, so for clients. So the quote can be emailed to the customer, or if they download MyTC, it's a travel buddy. So the travel buddy app basically allows you to send the quote direct to the consumer on their phones, and they can view it on their phone. And then on their phone, and we won't demo it because it'd be another half an hour, but then they can just request a book on the phone. You get an email back saying the customer wants to book this, and Emma's not shown it, but when you go back into the quote, all you then need to do is say book, and it will go away and recheck availability, double check the price for you, and then just confirm it immediately. So you don't have to load everything into the system again. I mean, Phenix we've been building it for 17 years, so it's quite complex. There's quite a lot in it, and we'd be here all day for it takes 4 or 5 days to actually come and be trained on it and be go into the depths of it. But we have brought it into the 21st century with an app, and likewise you can also use it remotely. If your eyesight is good enough to do that, of course. Mine struggles a little bit on my phone, but you could actually, if you wanted to, use Phenix on your own phone while you're on a train. You can make bookings anywhere in the world on it as well. So
Well, thank you. Anything from yourself, Matt, at all?
No, I think, like you say, I mean, it was a great insight into what Phenix does. And probably, you know, we haven't probably done its justice, but to Kirsten's point, it'll probably take a good 4 or 5 days for us to be able to demonstrate all of the tools and tricks. And it's got a huge amount of stock or inventory loaded. So I think the really key thing to take away is being in control of the tour operation. As you saw with Emma there, just being able to move the margins and, you know, adjust pricing. You're in total control when you become that principal, and you know, you're all protected via our Travel Counsellor's ATOL. And the good thing to remember, or a really key thing to remember, especially within the backdrop, all of the money, all of clients' money is 100% financially protected. So everything that goes through our system, whether it's a quote through Phenix or whether it's a booking through one of our suppliers, everything is fully fully protected as well.
We had one question in from a guest of ours, just asking with regards to the MyTC app, asking if a customer can just book what they want through the app. There has to be some form of relationship and communication between the travel counsellor themselves and the client and the customer. So they can't just book, for example, their own trip themselves. You work together with the travel counsellor to come towards what you want your trip to look like, rather than just it being transactional and one way through the customer's point of view. So
can I just add to that?
Yeah, absolutely.
On the roadmap for MyTC is what we want to be able to do is for the customer to be able, and for you to be able to upsell on the, so the full holiday ideally will always be booked by the travel counsellor. The whole concept of travel counsellor is the relationship that you have, and you know, we know at time booking that customer doesn't always want to book the airport hotel or the car parking, for example. So on the roadmap is for the ability to be able to push notifications to customers that are personalised for stuff that will enhance the booking as opposed to make the booking. So we may add, do you know your have you booked your insurance, yes or no? Would you like to have car parking on? Would you like to add the lounge on? So ancillary product is on the roadmap for us to be able to add into the app. There is no intention for us to push into MyTC, and MyTC can be used on a laptop as well. It's not just on an app. We have no intention to customers to book flights or accommodation only on there, because we lose our USP, which is the travel counsellor in the middle of it. But ancillary sales, yes, there's definitely intention to put them on.
Brilliant. Thanks, Kirsten. We've had
Sabine, can I just, my question really concerned if they were able to book themselves, but let's say that they're on their trip and they've booked a taxi locally. Are they able to add that information just for themselves to have everything in one place in that app? That was not the booking, not
right.
booking,
Okay.
just adding information to it.
Not at this moment in time. So if it was booked entirely separately through elsewhere, like a taxi, for example, then that would be you would be unable to add that into the app. We had one other question as well, and this was from Bogdan. He's asked, this is dynamic environment. Once the quote is generated, how long will this stay valid for? So the way that our system works, Bogdan, is once you've produced and created an itinerary and presented that to the customer, it will always sit in our system and in Phenix until you otherwise remove it. So if the customer needs a couple of days, for example, to have a think and chat things through, then all you would do is revisit that inquiry that you created. You have to revalidate it and recheck to make sure that prices and availability are still as they were, but that's through a click of the button, so you wouldn't have to recreate and reproduce that entire package again. So it's again saving time for you to just put that information back to your customer. Brill. Thumbs up. That's good. Yeah, Brill. Is there any other questions at this moment in time? Yeah, we've got one from Adrian. Sure. You're on mute before you go. There you
hear me now?
Yeah, I can.
Sorry about that.
It's all right.
What happens, maybe a question that Emma might be able to answer. Thanks for the presentation, by the way.
Welcome.
On a published airfare, for example, where someone's seen an airfare for £1,600 on BA.com, how competitive do you find your fares, or do you have net fares to sell? What?
Yeah, so we
do a management. Do you do a booking fee for some clients?
Yeah, we do add a service fee onto our flight bookings, but we do have the flexibility with the IT fares. So we can, for example, hold an option on seats, which is a really useful tool to have, especially if you know there's limited availability on a flight. It's a really good option to be able to hold those seats for the client while they decide how they want to move forward with their booking. But yeah, I find it's really competitive because you have to remember that they're paying for your service as well, and you have to sell your service. You know, it's our service is second to none, I think, and we look after our customers so well that for them to then go away and book everything separately and not have that, you know, financial confidence and having everything in one place and having somebody to call should things go wrong. And I think a lot of people over the past year have had their fingers burnt doing that. And it's now, I think more than ever, people are looking towards people like travel counsellors to, you know, organise their travel for them, because they've just you know, it's no hassle for a customer to do that. You know, we do all the hassle, we do that for them, and we sit on the phone for ages. If we, you know, if we need to get refunds, etc., then that's what we do. So yeah, I think we're very competitive in terms of pricing. Yeah, for sure.
Thank you, Emma. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thanks, Adrian. Is there any final questions? I know we've slightly gone over the 30 to 35 mark, but if there aren't, or if there is, please feel free to contact myself, Matt, Emma, or Kirsten, and we'll be in touch as well from us or members of the recruitment team to just see how you found it, and hopefully if it's driven any more questions to mind, we can go through those with you. But yeah, thank you so much for taking some time out and joining us. I hope you found it useful, and yeah, hopefully we can do this again soon with maybe a different topic, and you can just keep in touch and in the loop with how it's all going here. Anything from you, Matt, before we go?
No, that's great. Just to reiterate, thank you very much for your time today. We really appreciate it. Lots to go through. Please keep in touch with us if you'd like to see a little bit more about the system. Thank you very much, Kirsten, for joining. We really appreciate your time. And Emma, thank you very much for you sharing your insight into the last year of setting up a travel business during a pandemic. And I think you're testament to what can happen. And I think we were talking just before the webinar today just regarding Emma's business, and she planned on not earning anything for the first year. So the good news is she's been able to make bookings, and she's still been able to look after her clients as well, even in a pandemic. So I think it's a real good testament to the model. So huge congratulations. That's great. Thanks, Joe.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye-bye, everyone.
Take
Bye-bye.
care.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
See you soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye now.